The next one is from a husband, and he has a question about penis size and how that's impacting his marriage. So his question is, my cock is very small and comes usually in less than a second of sex. My wife is not satisfied, and I was wondering if there was anyone who had any good advice. Yes, I know about other ways of pleasing her, which I do well with my mouth, but I want to be able to make her orgasm with my cock.
Great. First of all, I hope you're not offended with the word cock here. We're going to use that because that's the word he used. Second of all, I want to just recognize that feeling like your body is inadequate to satisfy your wife is going to be a really difficult feeling to have. And just feeling inadequate to please your wife sexually can permeate every interaction you have with her, even the non sexual interactions. So, this can be definitely something that will haunt the whole marriage if it's unaddressed. And I'm not surprised that your wife isn't satisfied. When you say you come in less than a second, that's very rapid ejaculation. So, I want to invite you to think about your situation a little differently because the way you're thinking about it now is not going to solve your problem in your current state. You have to think about it differently. The first principle is the size of your penis usually has very little bearing on women's pleasure. Now, there are women that say they prefer maybe more girth than length, but ultimately, the pleasure center for a woman is her clitoris, not her vagina. Would you agree, Caroline?
Yes. Science, people, everything points to this. So, yes.
I would suggest that his own insecurity about his own body, about his penis size, is contributing greatly to his rapid ejaculation and his inability to satisfy his wife. He's so caught up in, am I going to be good enough? Is this going to happen? That stress and anxiety is happening. Also, a third component is to recognize, how does he know his penis size is too small? Did his wife tell him? Is he comparing himself to porn? Where porn is such an exaggeration. I mean, I've heard the statistic most male porn actors have a penis size of 8 inches or longer, yet that's less than 1% of the population. So it's
Hmm.
a very disproportionate size considering like the bell curve of, what's normal in the normal range. So
Yeah.
uh, comparing yourself to something that's a very small percentage of the population, you're always going to feel like you come up short and you don't measure up. And that's a horrible place to be in. That's a horrible frame to come from when you're trying to make love to your wife. However, the premature ejaculation does need to be dealt with because,
Yeah.
in under a second, as he says, is not going to create a satisfying, close bond that you usually want to have, most people want to have in that kind
Yes.
of a setting. So,
Yeah. And
just
it
some
impacts both of them.
yeah, it does. And so, rightly so, she's, wants her husband to address this. And I think he should take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
Now, here's another way to frame this too. In general, I think women care twice as much about the size of a man's heart than the size of his penis, right? We make love with our hearts, not just with our bodies. And I think couples that report having the very best sex lives, like this is what the studies and the research show, what makes sex so great is the deep meaning and that emotional connection that you get from it. And it feels like pure love, like a pitcher being poured right into your body, like just receiving and giving just love to another person. And it's has this replenishing, rejuvenating effect. Great sex does. Which is funny because most of these people and all the research, there's very little mention of orgasms or body performance. Do you see how it's so much more about our emotion, the emotional connection, and the meaning attached to it? In fact, those that focus so much on performance as equating to good sex actually end up having unsatisfactory sex lives because they expect that it's performance, it's lasting longer, it's all these things alone that make for a good sex life. And they ignore the emotional part or the more spiritual, meaning connecting, meaning building aspects of it.
Yeah. Sex is body, heart, and soul, not just body. It's all of those elements together. And that's what makes sex so connecting, is it incorporates all of those parts of us. It helps us to be seen by our spouse,
Mhm.
emotionally and otherwise.
And when you can really step into that sexual relationship fully emotionally naked, emotionally connecting, Your woman wants to make love to a man, not a boy, right? She wants a king in bed that'll treat her like a queen. So stop focusing so much on your own inadequacies and start just relaxing and enjoying the moment and just focusing on her pleasure. And you'll probably find that as a side effect, your erection's lasting longer.
Yeah. Great advice, Dan. I love it.
If you have a question, you can go to getyourmarriageon.com, click on resources and anonymous question. That comes to me, and we will do our very best to address those in upcoming podcast episodes, email newsletters, on our Instagram or Facebook groups, wherever you can find us. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, or even comment below, and go see what other wonderful videos we have that will help you strengthen your marriage intimately.